Well, global markets followed their Asian peers and starting 2022 in a good, strong fashion. The Dow gained over 200 points, closing in 2/3% higher in trade on Monday to start off the week, month, and the year higher, and recording an all-time high close. The S&P 500 too closed at a record level, just below that 4,800 mark, and gained 2/3% as well. The Nasdaq gained 1.2%, primarily driven by Meta, Alphabet, Apple, and mainly Tesla. Tesla gained 13.5% in trade yesterday after its Q3 vehicle volume increased to 304,000 in the December quarter. Apple became the first USD 3 trillion company after the stock rose 2.5% in trade yesterday, and a jump in bond yields also aided banking stocks. So broadly, a ton of sectors, but banking and technology really outperforming and outshining in trade yesterday. In terms of how Europe closed, outside of the UK, European indices closed in the green as well. The DAX was up almost 0.9%. The CAC 40 also up 0.9%, and the Stock 600 up just below 0.5% in trade to start 2022. The FTSE 100 though was the lagger. It was down around 0.25% in trade yesterday. When we look at Asia, there were only two indices which were in play, the Hang Seng and the Kospi. The Hang Seng declined yesterday in trade, but the Kospi was up around 1/3%. When we look at how Asia has opened up today, the Nikkei as well as the ASX 200, which is the Australian index, have gained over 1% in early trade today. While the Chinese indices, the Shanghai and the Hang Seng, have seen a marginal dip along with the Kospi. The Kospi is down around 1/3%. When we look at the SGX Nifty, it's down around 1/10%, quite a flat start to 2022 for the SGX Nifty as well. When we look at commodities, oil breached that $76 a barrel mark and it's holding smartly at that level. Brent too has breached the $79 a barrel mark. Gold held up above 1,800. That's a very meaningful hold up, since we did see bond yields rise up sharply. So let's first look at bond yields. The US 10-year Treasury yields breached the 1.6% mark yesterday, gaining 10 basis points. Strong gain there for the US bonds. And the 10-year US Treasury yields have held up above that 1.6% mark, in fact above the 1.62% mark in early trade today. And along with it, of course, the dollar index strengthened as well. The dollar index, which had cooled off below that 96 mark, breached the 96 mark. It was at 96.3 yesterday, and it's cooled off in early trade today. It's at around 96.15. Broadly, when we look at gold in this context, gold declined, but it did not decline below that $1,800, and rather it declined below the $1,800, but has now held up well above the $1,800 an ounce mark despite the sharp increase in bond yields. Bitcoin fell and is just above that $46,000 mark. Broadly, this is how indices as well as global markets, commodities, and Bitcoin and crypto are looking in early trade today.